All right, your first international flight. It sounds intimidating, right? But trust me, it really doesn't have to be. We're going to cut through all the confusion and give you a clear step-by-step guide to get you from your house all the way to your destination. Let's get you ready to fly.
So what are those 3 essential documents? What's that one hidden thing in your bag that could stop your entire trip cold at security? And what do immigration officers actually want to know? By the end of this, you'll have all the answers. You're going to travel like a pro.
Okay, here's our game plan. We've got 5 key stages. We'll start with your essential documents. Then we'll walk through the airport itself, tackle security and immigration, get your phone sorted out for when you land, and finally cover exactly what to do when you arrive.
All right, first things first. Let's talk about the absolute foundation of your trip. If you get this part right, honestly, the rest is a piece of cake.
Listen up, this is key. The second you get to that airport terminal, you need 3 things in your hand. Not in your backpack, not buried in a pocket, in your hand. Your passport, your flight ticket, and, if you need one, your visa. These are literally your keys to even get in the door.
So you hear the word visa, but what is it, really? It's not just some sticker they slap in your passport. Think of it as official permission from the country you're heading to. It means they've done a background check and they've said, yep, you're approved to come in. And that's exactly why you have to apply for it way in advance.
Okay, before we move on, here's a pro tip that's going to save you some serious cash. Whatever you do, do not exchange your money at the airport. The rates are an absolute ripoff. I mean, we're talking a rate of 22 rupees to the dirham outside, but at the airport, it was 26. You are just throwing money away.
Okay, so you're in the airport, documents are ready. What's next? It's time to check in for your flight. All right, look up. You're going to see these huge display screens. Scan for your flight. Let's say you're flying to Sharjah. The screen will tell you exactly which check-in counter to go to. Maybe it's counter G. Head over there, drop off that big suitcase, and they'll hand you your official boarding pass. Simple as that. But hey, here's a little hack for you. If you see massive lines snaking from the check-in counters, look around for the self-service kiosks. You can just walk up, scan your passport, weigh your own bag, print the tag, stick it on, and send it on its way. You get to skip that whole line. Okay, deep breath. We're at the 2 spots that make most first-time flyers a little nervous: security and immigration. But don't worry, we're going to demystify this whole thing so you know exactly what's coming.
Now, security. What's in your carry-on bag is everything. Obviously, stuff like lighters, flammable items, sharp things like nail cutters, they're all going to get taken. But here's a weird one you probably wouldn't guess. Coconuts. Yeah, seriously, they're considered a fire hazard, so you can't bring them in your cabin bag. Anything on this list, they'll find it and they will throw it in the trash right in front of you. No exceptions.
Once you're through security, it's time for immigration. And let's be clear, this is not an interrogation. It's just a final check. An officer looks at your passport, your visa, and your boarding pass to give the official stamp of approval for you to leave the country. That's all it is.
So, what are they actually going to ask? Well, one traveler said it best. They asked him 2 simple questions. Why are you going, and when are you coming back? That's it. Just answer honestly and clearly, and you are on your way.
All right, you've made it through the big hurdles. You're at the gate waiting to board. This is the perfect time to sort out one of the most important things for modern travel: how you're going to use your phone once you land.
Getting an international roaming pack from your provider back home is a fantastic idea. But you have to, and I mean have to, read the fine print. The plans can be totally different in price and how much data you get. But here's the real catch. You've got to make sure the plan actually works in the country you're going to. For a trip to the UAE, for instance, you might need a special Gulf pack, not just some generic Asia pack. Always double check.
Okay, this is probably the most critical piece of advice in this whole section. You must buy and activate that roaming plan before you get on the plane. If you wait until you land, your phone won't have any signal, which means you can't activate the plan. You'll be totally cut off. Do it before you fly.
Pretty soon, you'll hear them announce that it's time for boarding. All that means is it's time to get on the plane. It's that final step where everyone lines up at the gate and starts heading onto the aircraft. When you see those lines forming, that's boarding.
And touchdown! You've landed in a new country. Awesome! But hold on, you're not quite done yet. There are a few final steps once you're inside the new airport. So, when you land in the UAE, you've got to go through immigration one more time. And what happens next really depends on if you've been there before. If it's your first time, you have to go to a manual encounter with an officer.
Yeah, that can mean some long lines and getting a real stamp in your passport. But if you're a return visitor, you get to use the super fast automated smart gates, way quicker.
Now, what about that free SIM card you might have heard about? This is super important to know. It completely depends on which airport you fly into. If you land at Dubai's main airport, DXB, then yes, you'll get a free tourist SIM with a gigabyte of data. But if you land at the nearby Sharjah airport, SHJ, nope, no freebies there. You'll have to buy one yourself.
And that brings us to the single most important rule of international travel. After all the planning, the packing, the lines, it all comes down to this one thing. As one wise traveler put it, more important than your life on this trip is your passport. Seriously, guard that thing with your life. Keep it safe, and you are set for an amazing adventure. So the only question left is, where are you gonna go first?